In the popular PBS show Finding Your Roots, Henry Louis Gates Jr. regularly blows the minds of notable Americans by presenting new information about their family trees that was unknown to them. Tonight, I get to share the same experience when some of New Mexico's leading genealogists surprise me with information about my own family history. And we also talk how genealogical research helps us understand our personal histories and gives us insight into New Mexico's identity. Ruth Randall, good to have you here. We're going to talk about some stuff about me in a quick second. I'm very curious what you dug up on this endeavor. We've also got Henrietta Christmas. Thank you for coming. You're from the New Mexico Genealogical Society with some interesting family history as well. I'm dying to hear about your story. And Angel Cervantes, director of the New Mexico DNA Project. I'm very interested to hear the difference between DNA and how you use other research tools and why DNA has become so important. So thank you all for coming. Ruth, got to start with you.
Okay.
My family, we do not know much about my family history because, as you know well, from African American research, you can only go so far back and then you kind of get to a stopping point. You're not quite sure where your family roots have come from. So with bated breath, I must ask, what did you come up with for the Grant family?
Well, first of all, you have a very interesting ancestry. Your maternal line is from Cape Verde.
Yeah.
And the islands of Cape Verde were colonized by the Portuguese in the mid-16th century, and the islands subsequently became center for slave trade. Your paternal line is from Barbados, the southern Caribbean island, and in the mid-17th century, the island brought in slaves to work in the sugar industry. Now, your father was born in Massachusetts. Your father's father, Joseph, was born in Barbados. Do you know when your grandfather Joseph came to the United States?
Boy, I think it was in the teens. I'm not quite sure. Somewhere 1918, 1919, somewhere around there. I'm not exactly sure.
Well, he came to the United States in 1923.
Okay.
Tuesday, July 24th, and he was on the SS Pancras.
I'll be darned. What a way to travel.
Yes.
My goodness.
On line 21 of the ship manifest is your grandfather's name.
Wow.
You can see it better on this one.
Oh, I'll be darned.
Did you know that he was a skilled craftsman?
I knew he became a skilled craftsman. I don't know when when it started, like how he got going. I have no idea.
When he boarded the ship in Barbados, he's listed as a cooper, which meant he was a maker of barrels and pails or butter churns, wooden vessels.
I had no idea.
Yes.
How interesting.
And then on February 1st, 1943, your grandfather, Joseph, after signing a declaration of intent and giving an oath of allegiance, passing a civics test, was granted citizenship. And here's his signature.
Oh, wow.
His date of birth, and the date of admission. And this is his certification for naturalization.
I'll be darned. Wow. I've never heard about it. He's never mentioned it, or my dad either.
So there you are.
Wow.
Now, on April 27th, 1942, all men in the United States who were born on or after April 28th, 1877, or on or before February 16th, 1897, had to register for the draft. And it's commonly referred to as the old man's draft. So here's your grandfather Joseph's certificate of registration, his draft registration card, and then your grandmother's name, because that's the person who would always know where he lived.
Gotcha. I've never seen his signature before. This is very interesting. Look at that.
Now, your grandmother and Naomi and Joseph married around 1928. On November 7th, 1949, she took the same steps as her husband, your grandfather, to become a citizen of the United States.
Huh.
And so there's her signature.
Wow.
That includes her maiden name.
Oh, wow. And that's the address that I knew them from. That was the Putnam Avenue in Cambridge.
Yeah. Now, Naomi's father was William Adolphus Elder. Do you know when he came to the United States?
I don't.
Okay. Well, he boarded the SS Cuthbert on Friday, March 13th, 1914. And his name appears on line 19, I think, in this document, yes. And he was a porter at the time.
A porter. Okay. Interesting.
He, too, went through the process to become a U.S. citizen. And so here's his certificate of naturalization.
A lot going on with my family in the early 1940s.
Well, really, that's a great-grandfather.
Sure.
And this is great-grandmother. Now, I think the information I had, she was always referred to as Albertha, but she was Albertha Elizabeth Elder.
Gotcha.
And on other documents, she's Elizabeth Elder. So, but,
Interesting.
you know, here's her certificate of naturalization, their address, and her signature, date of birth.
Wow. Well,
There you go.
thank you so much. This is
Yes.
amazing.
It was a delight to
Thank
share this with you.
Thank you so much. This is really quite something. None of this information we have in our family, I don't believe, because we've all moved around. That happens within
Yes.
life. Families move around and things, and this connects so many dots I can't even begin to tell you. But I will take that step. I think there's going to be some talk in our family at this point.
Wonderful.
So thank you.
Wonderful.
Thank you for kickstarting it.
It was my pleasure.
Thank you so much. Henrietta, I want to come back to me and some other stuff a little bit later, but Henrietta, let me start with you. You had your own interesting family history when you started getting into this business as well with the Christmas family name. Take us through that journey. What was that all about?
Well, I married a Christmas, so it's not my name per se, but my husband's and
Right.
my two sons. And my mother-in-law was a genealogist, so it worked out real well for me in most
Sure.
cases.
Sure.
My husband's family is Christmas clear back through the 1600s in early Virginia.
Wow.
And we're stuck at a guy named Thomas Cross Christmas, and we don't know his wife's name.
How far back did you
I
get?
think he was here in about 1600.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So we're currently working on that. It seems to be an ongoing event in our life. We
Right.
work on Thomas and then we put him away and then
Sure.
we come back to him
Sure.
later.
Now, where was the home soil for the Christmas name? Where was the home country?
We don't know.
Oh,
We think
wow.
it's England.
Okay.
We've done some DNA testing. It's R1b, and I'll let Angel explain some of that when
Sure.
he gets his turn.
Sure.
So it's just Western European, and
Right.
we're kind of just there at this point.
Sure, absolutely. And Angel, that brings to the point Henrietta's talking about, and also as we're talking about here, sometimes there's only so far you can go back with certain methods of research. And where does DNA pick up the baton? How far, what does DNA allow you to do that other genealogical type of research does not allow you to do?
Well, what I call traditional genealogy, which is what we've been talking about so far up to this point, I mean, you can take it with documents. You're using church records, you're using wills, you're using baptismals, you're even using land grants, land disputes. And you use this, in a sense, hodgepodge of different information to map out a family history. But at best, you can only take it is roughly the 16th century. And it goes back to what happened with the Reformation. The Counter-Reformation within the Roman Catholic Church started the creation of keeping records, baptismals, marriage, even census. So if the documents exist, you should be able to take your family history at least to the 16th century.
Sure.
If you were just the regular individual,
Sure.
just the regular guy, so to speak, or regular
sure.
woman, so to speak. But you can take it further than that if you have royalty, maybe in your family history, or nobility, or military service. There's muster rolls for the medieval period that can also expand research. If you're lucky enough to have those in your tree, you can maybe take it a couple, or maybe several hundred years further back. But after that, that's it.
That's it, yeah.
That's it.
Wow.
And that's, again, if the records exist.
That's right.
Or still exist in some cases, because some records are destroyed for different reasons. So DNA takes you beyond that, beyond the recorded record of family history. And you can take it thousands of years back. And you can take it within the context of ancient history. So people of, I'll say, Spanish or Portuguese descent, I can tell you if your forefather was perhaps a Visigoth or a Vandal or a Suevi or Roman or Greek or Gypsy or Phoenician or Roman. It's just, it's amazing information that we would have never known without the advent of DNA. Because, as you know, people assimilate to different cultures and throughout centuries and time and whatnot. So you lose that sense. And as I said before, documents can only take you so far.
That's right. That's right. You know, interestingly, Ruth, I appreciate what Angel was just saying, because, you know, a lot of times for family histories, folklore can take the place of fact. Things get handed down. We see this with the Henry Louis Gates series as well. In the opening of the conversations, folks will say, "Oh, my grandma always said we did this, or always said we were part that." And then it turns out not the case. How much do you have to go through with that kind of a thing? We're fighting through family folklore and say, look, here's actually the facts of the matter.
Well, you can get perhaps some clues from that, perhaps, but you have to enter into it with an open mind. And a lot of times people even get hung up and stuck on name spellings.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I volunteered at Family History Center, and I try to tell them, forget about how the name was spelled or how you think it was spelled. Because in my case, I use my maiden name, but the slave owner's spelling was Randol.
I see.
My grandfather, well, let's see, my grandfather's uncle, he was a son of former slaves, and he became a school teacher, and he changed his spelling to Dall. My grandfather was very close to him, Uncle Turner. And so my grandfather spelled his name Dall. I didn't know that until I started doing research.
Interesting. Same for on my mom's side, the maternal side, Vega is spelled the old way, Veiga.
Right.
And it's common to see it just as Vega now. Whereas, like I say, as things go by, spellings change, all that kind of thing. And this is part of what you find as well, I'm sure, even in New Mexico background history, I'm sure, for folks here.
With New Mexico, we've got an interesting culture and migration pattern that came in 1598 when Juan de Oñate came. And of those soldier settlers that first entered, I have 14 men, families that stayed behind, that remained in New Mexico. And that's where we go into Chavez, spelled with a Z and S, a B and whatever. But I descend from Hernan Martin Serrano, and that name has segued over to Martinez. And so we're the dime a dozen family, you know, there's just Martinez's everywhere. And so there are some changes that have taken place, and sometimes you don't know why they changed their name. They just did it that way, or if the scribe heard it a certain way, that's how they wrote it. And I think we don't think of that today because we're just more formalized and we have spell check and stuff like that. And in those days, you're writing this document and no one's going, oh no, you can't spell, you know, Chavez that way. You have to spell it my way.
That's right.
But there are some even bigger examples. I like the Beta as being the one that is the most interesting. I mean, it was a huge change. It was Beta, B-E-I-T-A. Now we have a Beta, A-B-E-Y-T-A.
That's a huge change.
So that was a huge change. So the spellings, you know, they change. DNA sometimes makes those connections for you, but sometimes they don't. There's a lot of projects that get started that have different variations of a spelling, and you assume, well, it's because of a misspelling. Sometimes the DNA results don't match.
You know, it's an interesting thing. There's been, speaking of folklore, there's always been this rumor we had a pirate in our family. I didn't even know how this started. There was some pirate, who knows? We'll have to find out. Maybe DNA will make that show up, who knows? Ruth Randall, Henrietta Christmas, and Angel Cervantes, thank you all. This is an amazing thing. More and more families, my sense, are getting very interested in this, and they're really wanting to know where their roots are. It's a big hit with Henry Louis Gates. We love our series on PBS, and thank you for contributing here on New Mexico PBS to our own understanding of how New Mexico works and where we've come from, frankly, and a better understanding for all of us. So thank you all very much.
It's been a pleasure.
And Ruth especially,
Thank you
so much.
Thank
My
you.
pleasure.